First of all, talk to us about Meesho. I mean, it was created in 2015. What was the problem that you were trying to address with this company?
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to kind of share our story here. So Meesho, let me first start with a very quick introduction. So Meesho is India's largest social commerce platform that has enabled more than 20 million women in India to start their own online shops on platforms such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And let me give you like a quick overview of why we even started this business 6 years ago. So back in 2015, what we saw was India is primarily a small business economy. So 90% of India's total retail is small business driven, long tail, unstructured, unbranded. But most of what has gone online in India is smartphones, white goods, branded fashion, and so on. Most of these are branded and organized category, right? So the real Indian retail economy is still primarily offline. So back in 2015, we said, how can we really take all of these small businesses in India, create a very simple platform for them so that they can come online and become successful? And that's when we started Meesho. Meesho name comes from like Meri shop put together, which means my shop, because we wanted to give a shop of their own to each and every small business in India. Our vision is to enable 100 million small businesses in India to succeed online. So yeah, that's the quick story behind why we started Meesho.
Well, and talk about what happened in 2020. We saw a lot of e-commerce companies really pivot or, have good business in 2020. I wonder how you were able to adjust and push forward some of the things that you were trying to work on prior to.
Yeah, so internally, I say this quite often that 2020 was the best as well as the toughest year for the company since we started. And the reason we saw like the bottom of revenues of everything going bad to like things coming back really, really well. So when India went into lockdown, like a very strict lockdown, when all of e-commerce was banned for about a quarter, our revenue just away. Like we could not sell anything at all. But when things started to come back, we saw lots and lots of people in large cities to the smallest villages were hesitating to go offline and buy products. And they wanted to find a very safe way of buying stuff online. And we saw like crazy amount of traffic coming to our platform, more and more people looking to start their shops to provide, like for example, for their family, put food on the table and so on. So we saw massive acceleration in our business over the last 12 months. Like in the last 12 months, number of customers on our platform have grown by 10x. It just become 10x in such a short span of time. Number of orders and transactions on the platform have also grown by about the same amount, right? So an amazing year. And I think that tailwind that almost all e-commerce businesses are like getting across the world, because more and more people are finding much more comfortable to buy on. But in our case, I think we saw like much stronger tailwinds in our business because we tend to focus a lot on smaller towns and cities in India. And there, the penetration of e-commerce was almost negligible. So imagine that people went from almost never buying online to suddenly increasing their share of purchases online, a lot of that coming to our platform. So that's why we saw this massive surge. And yeah, I think it's been a great year for the entire company and generally for e-commerce as a sector.
What does e-commerce do for small and mid-sized economies? I mean, we see Amazon and other companies focusing on bigger economies. What is it that e-commerce provides for, you mentioned women, but also these smaller economies that you're focused on?
Yeah, I think small businesses, especially in a country like India, before this could never go out beyond their community and grow their business. But what has happened, especially with e-commerce, we see these millions of small businesses suddenly have access to markets across the country. Like you could be in one small city in India and through e-commerce serve customers across like nation, like very, very quickly, right? And I think that is a very strong superpower for all small businesses. Another very, very important thing is, I think 20 years ago, before all of this e-commerce had come, the only way a business could do marketing was like through TV, through like radio and so on. It was almost unaffordable for a typical small business. But what has happened with like online coming in and a lot of other platforms, it has become really, really easy for a lot of these small businesses to like spend small amounts, gain access to customers, grow their business and so on. So I think e-commerce in general has been much more empowering for these small, micro, nano kinds of businesses because now there's no barrier. Like it's not, hey, I have revenues of this much, these millions of dollars every year. You can't afford these like channels of growth and so on. So I really believe that e-commerce in general has been a very, very positive uh, thing for all kinds of small businesses and like almost a superpower.
And how much of what Meesho is doing is based on the community? Because I know you say it's a lot of community-driven opinion leaders that are fueling the business. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was our one of the biggest insights when we started the business. Like back in 2015, a lot of people used to say that, hey, these small businesses will never move online. Most of what will keep going online was branded because a lot of people tried what we are doing, but no one succeeded. And we said, let us go offline and understand how small businesses operate. And we said most small businesses let's start with the very local people in that community, really trust them, believe in their curation, believe in like what people are curating on a daily basis across categories for them. And we started to see this that a lot of these small businesses, they had not gone and created websites online, but all of them had created these WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups or Instagram pages, would invite people in their own community to follow them there, get recommendations on products and buy from them. So we said maybe the first version of small businesses online are going to be this community exist on these social platforms. So that's why the first version, and that's what has scaled so fast, is almost all of these 20 million women entrepreneurs I talked about run these WhatsApp or Facebook communities where they add all their friends, people in their community, neighbors, and so on. They start to curate products on a daily basis, tell them what they really like and what they don't like, and why it is like really a particular customer and so on. And that just takes off. I think people really like that personalized experience that a lot of these small businesses can give that large businesses can almost never give.
So given all of this new opportunity, Vidit, what do you see as the next innovation coming down the line in this space?
Yes, so the mission statement of Meesho is to democratize internet commerce for everyone in India. Our vision statement is to enable 100 million small businesses in India to succeed online. And I think the next 5 to 10 years for us are going to be just focused on this. Like, how do we enable like small businesses of not just one category where we started, which is mostly fashion lifestyle, but all kinds of categories out there, be it grocery, be it personal care, be it beauty, and like hundreds of other categories. How do we enable all those kinds of small businesses and make them successful online? That will require us to build very different kind of supply chains. That would require us to build very different kind of customer experiences. And that's the kind of technology we're working on. Second, a lot of our focus is to kind of go out and make our product accessible to people who can't access our product today. It is because of languages. We still have all kinds of languages in India. A lot of selection that cannot afford is not available on the platform in India. So a lot of things that we are going to do is making a product more accessible for different customers, again, across the country. India is a very, very heterogeneous country. Like there's a saying that every 2 kilometers in India, everything changes from language, from food, from culture, right? So you need to build a very, very personalized experience so people really feel that this app really belongs to me. And everyone has very, very different kinds of tastes. So a lot of our work that we're doing in technology is to make like the product more accessible by personalizing, using data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on. So these are it's some of the areas where, as a company, we're going to focus a lot of our bandwidth on and make sure we keep innovating and keep making sure that more and more small businesses find it much easier to succeed online.
And finally, Vidit, you are definitely seen as a pioneer in this space. I wonder who inspires you. I mean, who's doing something that you're just really inspired by and motivates you?
Yeah, I think I don't know if there's a one single person who has inspired our journey, But if you ask me who inspires us, is is like all these women entrepreneurs that we see on a daily basis, whose life we are like impacting in some way. I think that gives the kind of pride to the entire organization, not just to me, that really fuels us every single day, right? And I think that was also a big motivator why we started working towards this. And let me kind of share a story around this. When we started 6 years ago, we realized, so in India, the percentage of women who are part of the workforce, that percentage, even among developing countries, is very, very low. Like most of women in India are not part of the workforce, and a lot of those reasons are cultural. So we saw that these 85% of entire women population are at home, but they have aspirations. Like they are very ambitious. A lot of them want to do something of their own. They don't want to have an identity only of their husband or their family. And they're trying really hard, like trying to gather some capital so they can buy inventory, set up a shop, and sell products. And they struggle with this for so on. And suddenly we give them a platform which makes it very, very, very easy for them to start a business and grow it. And they're working day and night to kind of make that dream possible, right? So if you ask me, this women entrepreneur who has struggled all her life, who has tried everything possible to achieve that dream, even when everything is going against her, and she kind of figures it out and scales it up. I think those kind of stories really, really inspires me, the entire company. And like, I think that's what keeps pushing us to create that next 10x experience so we can enable these 100 million small businesses in India.